I work for Heifer International. Heifer is an international NGO that works in partnership with communities to end hunger and poverty and care for the earth. We are in about three major regions, the Americas, Africa, and then Asia. Why dairy? Trying to respond to the questions we were given in the guideline. As you may all know, East Africa is home to an estimated half of Africa's cattle. About 60% of dairy herd in the continent resides in East Africa. And 30% of the continent's high altitude temperate land, which is suitable for dairy, is located in East Africa as well. And the agriculture sector in East Africa is characterized by smallholder farmers, especially the dairy farmers, who subsist on less than $1 a day. So this project was designed to address a couple of issues confronting the dairy sector and smallholder farmers in particular. As you can see in this diagram, there was a disconnect between regional and national level information with smallholder producers and individual farmers in terms of market information, access to extension, and also access to inputs and access to market, both output and input markets. Both physical access to inputs and also economic access to inputs. So the project was designed to be able to bring together the farmers into organized groups so that they can benefit from the range of services that are provided by different entities at national level and also by different actors within the dairy value chain. Having said that, we felt using the dairy, turning or transforming the chilling plant hubs into dairy business hubs will be one of the major solutions where the farmers can have a one-stop shop for all their dairy needs, be it extension, be it input markets, other BDS service provision, output markets as well. And where they don't have access, physical cash to pay for these services, they will be able to enjoy these services using a check-off system where they pay through milk contribution. So that was the model behind it. The project sought to transform the livelihoods of 179,000 households, approximately 1 million individuals in 3 countries, Kenya, Uganda, Rwanda, for the first phase. And the second phase, which just started in January, we dropped Rwanda and we are now focusing on Kenya and then added Tanzania and then Uganda as well. The figures you see there here are the targets. And then these were what we achieved by the end of December last year. In terms of elements of the project, the major components are 3. One being to research to inform analysis and decision making within the dairy sector, both for the project and outside of the project as well. I remember in the previous session there were long discussion on how research engages with the smallholder farmers. This is a typical example, and IRI's role was to lead this component, working closely with the dairy farmers. How do we identify these challenges and then address by the consortium members that were implementing this project. And then Heifer International and its sub-grantees, ABS, that's Africa Breeder Services, and ICRAF, the World Agroforestry Center, were to focus on sustainably increasing dairy production and productivity among the smallholder farmers. And then TechnoServe to focus mainly on expanding dairy markets and increase market access of the farmers. Then the last one, which is all partners were responsible for refining and scaling up the model, which we did in phase 2. And also we are hoping that other entities outside of the consortium members we have here can replicate the model in other regions as well. In terms of multi-stakeholder, we are looking at, we're using a PPP model where the private sector plays a key role there, as we all know, and then foundations, corporations, and individuals who can provide resources to be able to de-risk the dairy sector to attract the private sector to invest in. And also public sector investment were very key here, because in terms of providing infrastructure, legislation and regulations, and even extension, governments played a very key role in that. Then civil society organizations were also very key in supporting us. The bottom line here is, how do we use philanthropy money and resources to de-risk in terms of mobilizing the farmers, providing them with the training that they need, and ensuring that the value chain actors are well coordinated, and then there's a win-win for all actors within the value chain that can then attract the private sector to come in. But the trick here is that we don't wait until we do that before we invite the private sector in. How do we engage all the stakeholders right from the beginning, but know how we sequence our level of engagement with the smallholder producers? Because we as either NGOs or using philanthropy resources here are not going to be with the farmers for a long time. So as our resources begin to come to an end by the end of the project, we expect the whole system to work. And that is where the private sector's role is very, very critical. If there's win-win for everyone, then that can sustain the project beyond funding cycle. How did we make this work? We had different structures and systems in place to ensure all the consortium members, and even those outside of the implementing consortium members, are able to coordinate and work very well in their activities. This one is at the country level. What you see here are the implementing partners here. And then we had a project national advisory committee made up of the same partners. They meet from time to time to ensure they do their planning together. They identify issues that confront the implementation of the project and come up with ideas on how to address challenges they are currently facing. Then also at the regional level, we have structures in place. Project Regional Advisory Committee meetings were also held from time to time to ensure issues confronting the region are addressed at that level as well. Then we have the Steering Committee meeting, which was made up of the Gates Foundation, the major funder of the phase one, and then all the consortium members with representatives from them. I have Steve here, who happened to serve in that committee as well. Having said that, how did we make that work? At the end of the day, the strategies we used were to ensure with the steering committee setup, they will be able to advise the project on what needs to be done in terms of the leadership. If there were issues with the various partners at the higher level, they can provide advice on that. And then also we had the annual review meetings, where all partners will come together to meet to review progress and see what challenges were there. In phase two, we realized that there's the need to also engage other entities outside of the consortium members who are implementing this. So we are planning to have annual multi-stakeholder platforms that will bring together other players outside of the implementing partners. What did we learn from all this process? Having an inception period sufficient enough to ensure we all align our goals and objectives to the goals and objectives of the project, given that these are different partners and different entities with their own organizational cultures and missions and vision, was very key. Then also, having a project committee arrangement, like I mentioned, is very, very essential to be able to ensure we coordinate and resolve conflicts among ourselves. Then engaging the private sector earlier on is very key to delivering. We realized in some cases the private sector, some of them came in to even invest in providing coolers to the farmers, or lease in a lease to own arrangement in some cases, just for them to use. And also clarifying roles and responsibilities and clarifying communication and sequencing of events are very key to the success of this. And also respecting and valuing partners' roles are very key in ensuring the project succeeds. We also adopted a cluster system where we decentralize decision-making to the local level, where the teams can engage with the local leadership, including the communities, as well as government officials and then partners, to work as a team, regardless of which partner they belong to. Also having the flexibility to be able to contextualize the project in each country and even in each locality, we realize that is very key to the success of the project. And then also ensuring we are able to identify the strengths of even entities outside of the core consortium members is very key to helping us succeed. Where we don't have the core competencies to deliver on some of the components, engaging others outside is very key to addressing that. What is the role of the government here in ensuring we have these multi-stakeholder platforms to work very well? We think in the future, engaging with the government to be able to create an enabling environment by organizing these multi-stakeholder platforms for coordinating of activities of those in the sector is very, very key to ensure we are able to succeed. With this, I would like to end here and then give chance to my colleagues. Thank you.